Corporate training, there's 6,660,000,000. I didn't make that number up. And yes, that's 3 sixes to start the number. That's a different video. So 6,666,000,000 search results for corporate training. Well, I think that's a little bit challenging, and I don't think you can go through them all. So how do we sort through it? That's what this video is about. And in sorting it out, we're talking about the most masterful way to bring about your outcomes and why you're searching corporate training in the first place. We're gonna have some fun, deal with some truth, find our hearts, and send some lightning bolts to places where it should go. Why do people even want corporate training? What does it even mean? Let's talk about what it doesn't mean and what it does mean. First of all, it doesn't mean having somebody speak, nobody listen, partially listen, half listen, nothing happening. That's not the outcome of corporate training. The outcome of corporate training is what Cicero said all the way back in the days of ancient Rome. And he said that the purpose of communicating with an audience and a people isn't to observe the speaker. It isn't to say, hey, what a great and amazing job. It is to cause people to want to go forward and march. And I'm not talking about something wacky, militaristic. No, instead I'm talking about how the hearts and minds of people affected and moved so people's behaviors change. They become more optimal. They come together in higher and more powerful ways. So whether it's diversity, inclusion, leadership, management, tech stuff, ChatGPT-4, computers, programming, CRM management, any dynamic, communication, selling, marketing, leading, anything, fundraising, all of it's the same thing. Corporate training is the mechanism by which someone comes to the front of the group and its most optimal level. They open the listening of people, their hearts, their minds, maybe even their souls a little bit. They share something, they have a mastery, a capability to give to people, and behavior changes to create even more effective and powerful outcomes. But there's a challenge, and the challenge is, oh yeah, there's billions and billions of results. We look up corporate training. How do we sift through it all and actually get that unbelievably idealistic, visionary outcome that I just talked about? Well, the likelihood it's going to be like Cicero in ancient Rome, that may not happen all the time, but let's not settle. Let's not start with limitation in mind. What are we looking for when we're looking for people to do corporate training? How do we select it? How do we design it? What's it all about? So it begins with the ability to really do 4 things as a speaker. First, to open up the listening of people, to connect with their hearts and minds, to open their hearts so they will actually listen, not with arms folded, but leaning forward with their hearts and minds and ears wide open. The second piece is where we're going to talk about the pain, because nothing could be more painful than having somebody in to do a corporate training and it doing more harm than good, which I dare submit happens more often than not, where a speaker comes in and they're there to do a job, to cause something new, to cause an axis, a vector of movement, and not only do they not do that, they make people feel like they waste their time and people step further backwards. And the next time that training is going to happen, they don't believe in you as the person organizing the corporate training, or they just don't believe in personal development, corporate development, professional development as an overall. So whether you're an attorney, an accountant, financial service provider, you're a Fortune 500, Fortune 10 company, all of these I've had the privilege and opportunity to train and speak in front of. We'll get to that in a second. It's all the same thing. It's the opening of the heart and the mind. It's bringing people present to their pain, whatever that pain is, the problem they have, the training is designed to solve. And then third, to demonstrate that you in fact can solve the pain and the challenge. And fourth and finally, it's after you open the listening, the hearts and minds first. Second, you have people become present to their pain, because nothing changes unless people become present to their pain at some level. And then you demonstrate the ability as the speaker to solve the problem. Then it's moving forward in the power action step forward of some sort, a new vision, multiple action steps, or at least one step forward together. Those 4 things is what your speaker has to be able to do. But how do you know if they could do those things? Well, you know they can do those things if you speak with them, if you communicate with them. And is this a person that you truly feel, first, there's a level of depth and authenticity to? Do you feel their heart, their soul? Is there energetic transference? Is there something happening where you say, you know what? There's something here. And then second, can they talk about the subject? Do they know things? Are you feeling this person knows more about that subject than you do or the people in the team do? Because again, there's nothing worse than bringing in somebody who has nothing new and insightful to share or offer, putting people to sleep and wasting time. And then third, would you want to have dinner or lunch with this person? Do you want to spend time? Is there something about this person that feels really resonant? Like they resonate, there's connection, there's positive things happening. Because if you don't want to spend time with them, the people in the training are not going to want to spend time with them. And then fourth and finally, what if we don't ever settle? What if we make sure the person we're communicating with is those three things? What if we're willing to believe that's available and possible for your corporate trainer? And who am I to be talking about all this? With great humility, I'm somebody who couldn't speak and train. In fact, the first speaking engagement I ever did, I spent 3 days preparing for 15 minutes. I ran for class president in 7th grade, got 2 votes in a class of 115 people. Now I've had the privilege of speaking on Fortune 10 stages, Fortune 500 stages, companies like T-Mobile, Disney, Salesforce. I've been on the personal development stage with Tony Robbins 17 times and many other personal development masters. I've also had the privilege of raising millions and millions of dollars philanthropically on the biggest corporate charitable stages you could imagine, including the American Foundation for the Blind, all the way to smaller startup charities. I've had the privilege of speaking in prisons, training prison guards. You go, how the heck do you train Salesforce and prison guards? Oh, because it's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. It's those 4 things: the ability to open the mind and heart, the ability to share or connect people with their pain, and demonstrating your ability to teach people something in the Einstein model of make it as simple as possible, not simpler, and then cause people like Cicero to move forward to some action step. And by the way, don't be afraid of the energy, because I certainly modulate that for a T-Mobile crowd versus a Tony Robbins crowd. And when it's all said and done, when you bring in the right corporate training, things actually transpire and accelerate. That's what this is about. If you have any interest in bringing us into corporate training on any topic you could conceive of imaginably in the space of leadership, influence, diversity, inclusion, marketing, selling, fundraising, for profit, for corporate gain, whatever that would be. I have 2 top 100 national jury verdicts, one of only 2 attorneys in the country. We've even disrupted jury verdict consulting processes. We have the highest level of human technology in the space of how people cause influence, where to apply it, and the emotional dynamics around getting ourselves to use it and overcoming the massive fears that we all have in every dynamic of human influence of course, rejection and failure. So if you want to have that conversation, we're happy to, or have a conversation about how you choose your corporate training partners, or finally, how to be trained at the highest levels in the world. I train the most influential people on the planet in the space of human influence, in legal, accounting, financial, people on spaces of personal development, people with tens of millions of monthly views online. These are people who've called me the greatest trainer of human influence on the planet. People like Chris Crone and Tony Robbins has said himself, there's no one who leads more heart and integrity than Sean Callagy. If you don't know he's up to, you need to, and have the highest scores ever to the consumer products division at Disney. Thank you, Patricia Marseille. Love you. I'm Sean Callagy. Click the button if you want to have any of those conversations. Have a beautiful day and understand that corporate training, that is the pathway, of course, to new acceleration. And we're a Adobe certified company, because I am blind, number 1, which means disability-owned business enterprise. And there's the 70 of the Fortune 100 companies are part of this Adobe certification. And it's not just because I'm blind, it's because we have masterfully demonstrated our ability to deliver on what we're talking about. And we've delivered CLE or CE training or CME or MCE, all medical, legal, top corporate counsel, trained all of these fine folks in professional licenses in the space of human influence and emotions and dynamics and marketing, selling, diversity, inclusion, every topic essentially you can think of and consider, we can have a conversation about in the space of corporate training.